ready for the next episode. Can't wait to get home and turn my TV on. I'm ready for the next episode. Got my snap shoes off, no remote control. I'm ready for the next episode.
Hi guys, and welcome to next episode with Nick
and Jess.
And today we're discussing the Netflix hit The Residence.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about this show because I felt like it was very, very charming, very cute. And even though it's about a murder, like emotionally, like the stakes were low for me. I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was more of like a comedy. It was funny. The murder was fun.
Right. Even though like the characters were very good, very endearing. Like even the murder victim, because you, as like the show goes on, you get to know more and more about the murder victim. Like I it's not that I did not make an emotional connection with a lot of the characters, because I did, but at the same time, like it led with comedy.
It did. So, and I mean, if you think about it, like it starts with the murder and then you learn about AB, who's the guy who's murdered. So like you don't have a chance to connect with him until after he's already dead, you know?
Right. That's very true. That's very true. Now, I don't know if you know, so AB Winter, who's the person who was murdered, was played by Giancarlo Esposito. Did you know that he was not the original person who was supposed to play that part?
I did, but that guy passed away.
Yes. Do you know who he was? Andre Braugher?
The guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes. And I was like, he would have been so good.
Yeah, he would have been good as AB Winter. Too.
Yeah, that was like really, really sad. Like they had literally started filming and everything. Like he died during production of the show. So Giancarlo stepped in and he was talking about how emotional it was because that was like a friend of his.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were friends.
Yeah. And so he ended up having to step in. And so I was like, oh my goodness. And like, so I like watching the show, I was trying to like picture him like in the role and what he would have brought to it.
Yeah. He definitely brought some comedy to it as well. He has the ability to kind of appear like a straight man, but still be funny. Yeah.
Yes. He is the funniest straight man. I feel like I love it because he's like, it's so, like he'll say the most ridiculous thing with like the straightest face in the sternest voice. And I love it. I do. Yeah. I love it. So, okay. My first question is, do you think this show was meant to be like a one-off?
I do, because I can't see where they would go next season with it being focused on the White House and it being called The Residence. So I do think it's meant to kind of be a one-off. So is it considered a show or a limited series? Because that's what I wasn't sure about that.
I don't think it was listed as a limited series, but I also feel like a lot of American shows are not necessarily listed as limited series. There's just one of them, and that's just it. Because I think secretly, if people were willing to pay, they will make anything a sequel. Okay. We love a sequel in America.
We do. So I think it was meant to be a one-off, but I feel like I could see where it would go. Like I would love another murder mystery every season, like completely. And so like Cordelia Cup maybe being the same, and maybe keeping the police chief that she's close to, but like the rest of the cast completely changing every season because it's a different murder mystery. And I would be down for that ride. But I don't know that that's what they plan to do.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, it is called The Residence. So if it's going to be White House centered and a mystery, I'm like, maybe something could get stolen next year.
There could be other mysteries instead of just murder.
Yeah, or someone could be kidnapped, or I don't know. One of the things that the first season had was a lot of information about the White House and the history of the White House. And like that, I feel like added a layer to the show.
Yeah.
Because it really kind of gave you a glimpse. Like people don't know a lot of about the background of the White House and
Yeah.
how it functions and how it runs, and it just gave it shined a light on the people who are working so hard and don't get a
Mhm.
lot of credit. So that
Yeah.
was beautiful, but also it's like, okay, they did that. What happens next season?
Yeah. And that's the thing. But I think like the White House is so old. There's a lot of room for history, for the history of it. You know. So I think that they could
Hmm.
still even go deeper or different seasons, depending on the mystery, touches on different parts of the history. You know, it burned down at one point. It's built by enslaved people. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can go into as far as the history goes. But I do again also like the shining the light on the staff that kind of keep it going, keep it running. And I mean, you could go like so it's the
Right.
residents. So like it focused on the part that they live in, but then you also have the West Wing, like the part where they actually run, the country from. So there's like that part and that
Hmm.
history and the stuff that's happened in that office, that kind of stuff that they could go through. And then that would also be a different staff.
Would it be pushing it too far if they
Mhm.
like did a season at Camp David or where the vice president lives? Like, is that pushing it too far?
No, heck, you for me, like Cordelia Cup is the show. So we can do this season at the White House. We can do the next one at the governor's mansion. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wherever. Because, like, while I get it, it starts with the White House, and that's kind of why it's called the residence. But, like, the governor's mansion also is going to have a staff. It's going to have a history, depending on what she can travel. Because I feel like he called her in and contracted her,
Hmm.
so she can really go anywhere in the country.
Right.
She's not limited to this place. So there's a lot of places similar, like you know what I mean, that would have a similar and as important feel that we can get into the background and the history of. And
Right.
I like I said, I like her, so I'll go with you on that ride.
So this is a Shonda Rhimes production.
Hmm.
And this is really outside of what we expect from Shonda Rhimes. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I like it.
I did. I loved it because the thing about it is Shonda Rhimes, she loves drama. She loves interracial romance.
She do.
She loves like a lot of like jerky, strong emotional stories. Like,
Hmm.
you know, Private Practice, Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder, even Bridgerton, which is, a show that she produces. There's a lot of like emotion, there's a lot of romance, there's a lot of stakes are very high in those shows.
Hmm.
This show was so fun.
Yeah, yeah, a true
And
comedy.
right. And I'm like, oh, I want to see more low stakes shows from Shonda Rhimes because she's doing a low stakes show well.
Yeah, agreed.
It's got the quality of her other shows,
It does.
but like one of the things that made me stop watching Grey's Anatomy is because they would spend 45 minutes making me fall in love with a character that they were going to kill off in a tragic way in the last 15 minutes of the show.
Yes.
And so for this show to have a murder in it and I not be triggered by it, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's with also the starting with the murder. So that's out the way. We already know that's why we're here. And versus like warming up to the character that's going to go away. Yeah.
So, and also I think casting, they did an excellent job.
Excellent. Excellent. Absolutely.
So Cordelia Cup is being portrayed by Uzo.
Aduba.
Thank you. I will jack up a name.
Hmm.
And I literally be calling her Uzo like we're friends.
Yeah, me too.
Um, I don't know. Maybe she's my cousin. Like I've loved her and admired her for a long time. She's a phenomenal actor. And I loved her in this show because normally like she's like doing a lot. And like she was in Orange is the New Black and she
Hmm.
basically played somebody who was like psychotic,
Hmm.
you know?
She
And
played
like
crazy.
usually like she plays like a huge personality and she
Hmm.
played someone with a
Yeah.
big personality in this show,
Hmm.
but the way that she played it was like it was very simplified. It was like I loved her personality. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing, like, I'm the best detective.
Right.
Not arguing that fact with you. That's just a fact.
Right.
I also love birds.
Hmm.
And I'm going to
I'm a
take this
bird.
opportunity to go birding at the White House. Like, yes, there's an investigation going on, but I'm birding and I'm like going through things in my head. I'm making connections. Like,
Hmm.
she was unapologetic, like, even like down to like the food that she was eating. And like, I think his name was Edwin, was getting offended. Like, she does not apologize for who she is. And I love seeing a Black woman in that role.
Hmm.
She's not being like a typical stereotypical Black bee, how they love to portray us.
Hmm.
She's just strong, confident, and intelligent, and unapologetically herself. And I feel like more of us need to be that person.
Hmm. Agreed. I do like, well, one of the things that, we kind of talked before is like, I like how she interacted with white people and white men who tried to intimidate her. And she just would not allow it at any state. Like, but I feel like a good, like, I was venture to say all the Black characters did in this. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't that sort of kowtowing or stepping down to them when they tried to intimidate, when they tried to force them, force themselves in certain places and situations, or make themselves seem more powerful than they were. No one backed down.
No.
No one like stepped aside. They stood their ground no matter what their position was. And I like that.
You know what is interesting? Like, this show, if you think about it, was almost race blind.
Hmm.
Like, there were a lot of Black characters in this show,
Hmm.
but the show was not about Blackness at
Hmm.
all. It was almost as if the show was race blind. Like,
Hmm.
I first of all, I love that, because just because there's Black people in it doesn't
Hmm.
make it a Black show. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's just showing that probably, like, in real life, a lot of the people who are doing that work are Black.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
they talk about their jobs with such reverence.
they do. They
Like the
do.
lady who was talking about how she worked at Waffle House, and she
Yes.
really wanted to work at the White House,
Hmm.
and how they talk about the history, and how, like, they talk about the protocol, and how they're like they how much they care about the house and keeping the traditions alive. Like, they have a reverence for what they do. And like
Hmm.
they said, it's not based on politics. It's not, you know what I mean? And it was just kind of beautiful. Like, the cast was like, I felt like it was like reasonably a reasonably diverse cast,
Hmm.
but they didn't have like those snarky comments or those jokes about people's race and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I
Hmm.
really just enjoyed that. I did.
Yeah. I did
Which
too.
is interesting because, I just recently saw Sinners,
Hmm.
and Sinners, like, what makes that so great is how heavily the Blackness is being focused on. But
Hmm.
it's a different movie trying to do a different thing.
Yeah, because I think there's room for both, and that's always like you know what I mean. I think the issue is not that one should exist and one shouldn't. It's just that they both have a right to exist.
Yes, and more often they don't.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like I don't like it when they pigeonhole a show,
Hmm.
a Black show, just because it has a Black lead.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I do think that there are shows that are Black centered and
Hmm.
in Black culture, and that's great. That does need to happen, and that does need to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But there just needs to be a balance. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I thought this, like,
And
I
in
just
that
enjoyed
on
it.
that note, I feel like there's also a balance in the cast with that. Like you get to see different kinds of Black people because like the one that you mentioned, the one who went from the Waffle House to the White House, she's a very interested in personality, but you also get to see her, you get to see AB's personality, Uzo, I'm sorry, Cordelia. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's such a variety of the portrayals that I appreciate as well.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But I think that they honestly, they really did a good job with all of the casting.
Hmm.
Everybody was very, like, unquestionable. Like I didn't say, oh, it was, there was not one person who was lacking. Like the
No.
performances were there, the casting made sense. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they, like, the cast did a really good job of interacting in a
Mm-hmm.
way, like, so workplaces are tough, right? And at its heart, this is kind of like a workplace comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are
Yeah.
all of these, like how they talk about, when they talk about the issues, because they're trying to find out who murdered AB. So they're like, you're learning about the staff members and different people who work there, and you're learning about their relationships with AB and also with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, as much as the staff loves each other, when you work together for a long time, you have like
That
these
closely.
long-standing like beefs. You have these like different situations, and I think that they did a really good job of like weaving everything together, like
Mm-hmm.
where it felt very, very like realistic, and it made sense. Like, because the show is like, in a way, it's nonsense and it's fun and it's like fantastical a little bit,
Yeah.
but they weaved a lot of genuine things into it.
Mm-hmm.
That reverence, that tradition, that history, and how complicated relationships can be,
Yeah.
and how, like, you want to do a great job. What happens when someone is hindering you from, even when you're working your hardest, and how is that this frustrated, and then having to deal with the different administrations coming in and doing things their way, when the house is like a river, like it flows,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And then each new administration come in and it's like a dam.
Right.
They come in and they build over it, so then the river has to adjust how it flows, but at the same time trying to still move forward in that same direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was beautiful.
It was. And the house is a character in and of
It is.
itself. Yeah, I love that.
I honestly, like, it made, I think, like, right now in the political climate and with
Mm-hmm.
all of the craziness going on,
Yeah.
like, it gave me like a lot of respect for like the White House itself.
Yeah. The
You know,
actual house.
the actual house,
Mm-hmm.
the actual history, the actual traditions, and all of the people who are working night and day to make that happen.
Right.
It's the way that, like, Hamilton redeemed Alexander Hamilton, and all of a sudden made him like somebody that we all, for some reason, love and respect, as long
Mm-hmm.
as we don't look too hard. you
Girl.
know
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it did the same thing, because I think I was extremely indifferent
Mm-hmm.
when it came to the White House. Extremely indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe in 8 years, maybe I'll take a tour.
12 to be
Maybe,
sure.
you
Are they
know.
gonna stage it? Anyway.
So,
I'm sorry.
with this show being so great, what would you like to see Shonda tackle next? That's like outside of her wheelhouse.
That's a good question. What would I like to see Shonda Rhimes do? I don't know. She's done so much already. She's done a lot of medical shows. This is now a mystery. Have we gotten a thriller from her?
You don't. What about How to Get Away with Murder? That was kind of like a thriller drama,
I couldn't follow that one.
because it was like people were getting murdered. You were like trying to
Okay.
figure it out.
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't watch it. Like I keep getting stuck on the first season with that one. A do
Hmm.
over.
You want to see a do over?
I'm not of that specific, like of a thriller. Like I would like to see a different thriller from her. That one, yeah. How to Get Away with Work Both Mother. I just couldn't get into that one.
I feel like you know what my answer is going to be.
What? Oh, I don't actually.
I want to see her do something in the sci-fi realm.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because she's done plenty of historical fiction.
Right.
Hmm.
Like, I wonder, like, what her take on sci-fi would be. Because sci-fi is so vast, so it's like, what would she be interested in? Would it be aliens?
Hmm.
Would it be like robots and technology? Like, what kind of story would she tell? What kind of lessons would she try to teach us?
Yeah.
I would be really curious on what Shonda Rhimes sci-fi would look like.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Hmm.
There's not too much that she's done that I wouldn't watch. I just except for the medical shows, but that's just because my feelings about medical shows.
Hmm. You don't watch any other than Scrubs, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You didn't like Private Practice? It's
I didn't
medicine
try it.
light. Oh,
I worked in hospitals for a long time. I did not, I believe in the separation of work and home, even when I work from home.
right.
So when I get off, I don't want to do nothing that has to do with anything like work. So that's why Scrubs was funny. So I could do
Hmm.
Scrubs, but I could not come home from a hospital, see what I saw, even in passing, because I wasn't medical.
Hmm.
Um, See what I saw even in passing, and then watch Grey's Anatomy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It
Yeah.
would feel like I didn't leave.
Right. That was like me when I like when I was working in hospitality. I didn't want to watch hotel shows.
Right. So like you're not coming home and watching the Jamie Foxx show. Like
Right. Right. No,
because like
that's
I did that all day.
right. And like I can watch The White Lotus now because I'm so far removed from it. Like I've been out of
Mhm.
that industry for so long. So,
Right.
but I still have strong feelings.
You still have strong feelings. So well,
Yes.
that's the same thing. Like so now it's been at least 3 years, maybe 4 since I've been in the hospital. So I'm like, maybe I could try again. But yeah, but when Grace was out, I was like, no, I am not going home. you know, I
Yeah,
saw
I can
somebody get their
imagine.
back sewn up in real life. I don't want to. I don't want to go home and watch it on TV.
I one of the things that I feel like I like about this show and I would love to see more is like smart and funny TV.
Hmm.
Like I think that people they try to make smart funny TV and a lot of times it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
Um or it's neither,
Hmm.
you know.
Do both. Well, I don't know that it's hard because I feel like we used to get it a lot, and then there was just kind of a lull.
I don't know. Like what when you think of a smart funny TV show, what do you think of?
A show I've never watched was The Office. I would assume. Like I think people
I don't think it's smart because like
funny.
it's not there's a lot of like ridiculous characters in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a well written show. Like it's a great show. You
Frasier,
never seen The
maybe?
Office?
No, I never seen Office.
It's a great show.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily think of it as like super smart.
Okay. I don't know. Everybody loved it, so I assumed.
Yeah, no, it's a great because it's a great show. But I
Mhm,
think what makes the show so great are honestly like the characters and their relationships.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of like oddballs, and then one person who swears that he's like the straight man, you know, around a bunch of oddballs. But
mhm,
like, sir, to do the things that you do, you're also an oddball too. And how they interact. So they work for a paper company, which is like one of the most mundane jobs that you could think of. You
mhm,
know what I mean? In it, you just kind of see like their shenanigans. You should really watch The Office.
mhm. You don't think I missed the moment with that one?
No, people are literally still watching it today over and over again. Ask me how I know.
Okay.
People. I also
Oh,
watch Parks and Rec.
I tried Parks and Rec recently.
Hmm.
I did a
What
few
do you
episodes.
I love I love Leslie. I love Leslie Nope. I love the optimism.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way like the thing that I love about like Cordelia is like how strong and confident she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I feel about like Leslie Knope's optimism. People will say like try to like bring the truth or like you can't do this and she's like, I can. I
Mm-hmm.
just can. Like she doesn't doubt herself. And I just think that more women need to be confident. But also I would not consider that show a smart funny show either.
Okay. So I think I was watching it more for Ria's character, which I don't know the name, and Aziz Ansari's character,
Oh, is Rhea Donna? Is she the black woman?
Donna. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm like literally going through my head. I'm like, who on the
Who's
show is
Ria?
Rhea?
Sometimes I know the character name, sometimes I know their real name. It don't.
Yeah, Donna is one of the best characters ever on, and it's for the same reason that I love Cordelia Cup. Like
Mm-hmm.
like Donna has been on that show like all the time. You've never seen like a fat joke about her. Like they
Mm.
like she is like a character who is like on point, very confident, very about like luxury, unapologetic, like how she lives her life. Like I love that. But she's not, once again, she's not like a nasty personality or anything like that. She's like cool, calm. She's chill, but she's
Mhm.
also like the most fabulous person in there. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah, I think I was trying
genuine
to
is
get to
her
the
cousin.
episode where she
She
was with the
drives a
South American
Mercedes.
dignitaries.
You said what?
I was trying to get to the episode, I think I did, where she was with the South American dignitaries because I saw a
Oh,
clip of that on TikTok. And so then I'm like, I need to see this whole episode. But then,
oh
I
yeah,
got
they're
to
like, well,
TikTok.
yes, I choose the black woman, and then
I
they're
choose
like,
the black one.
is there a book? If not, I also choose the black woman. Yes, yeah, I enjoyed her character on Parks and Rec, but I love Parks and Rec because I also like April's character, like the really dry, like, and I also love I love that show. I'm sorry
Mm.
because I'm just like because you like, oh, you watched it for Aziz and sorry, and I'm like, he's like one of my least favorite characters.
Characters. Well, like they were the two that I was familiar with outside because they had the treat
Oh,
yourself thing, which
right.
I've only seen because I hadn't watched the show. I'd only seen clips of people posting the treat yourself, and then I
Oh,
had seen a clip of the South American dignitaries episode, which was like then I was like, okay, let me go watch.
do you know what famous meme also comes from that show?
Which one?
Don't be suspicious. Don't
Don't
be
be
sus.
I didn't know that was from
Yes,
that show.
yes, that also comes. Like most people don't know that, but yeah, that also comes from Park and Rec. Park and Rec is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you. So we both agree that like Uzo is like the bomb, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like Hollywood understands her gifts and are utilizing them like to the best of their ability?
Hollywood never understands anyone's gifts who are not like this, like very specific type of person. So absolutely not. But I think she understands her gifts and she utilizes them to the best of her ability. Because she continue to see her. We continue to see her in different opportunities that like really push boundaries, or push boundaries for us. But I think, like I said, she's not. I think as a person, she's not afraid. She uses her gifts well, and she's going to continue to go after things that people might not see her in otherwise.
So if you could like create a story or if you can think of a story that
Mhm.
you would love to see her in, what would it be?
I would love to see her in anything. She's also one of those people that if she's on it, I'm going to watch it. Um, but let me see. Where would I like to see her go next? Is it weird to say a rom com?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I want her to be the romantic lead in something.
I would love that. I would love something like that where she's like the romantic lead, but also like where she's like the governor.
Mm-hmm.
And also like because I love when she gets to like flex like her
Mm-hmm.
intelligence and her like leadership. So like I would love to see like a movie where she's like the governor and she falls in love, but don't make her fall in love with the groundskeeper. Like I want to see like a tech billionaire like whining and dining her as
Yeah.
she like unpacks like her issues and what it's like to be like powerful and figure out how to like live and work with someone else who's also like powerful.
Yeah.
I hate when they make like successful black women date down.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
Me too.
So
Me
yeah,
too.
please don't have her fall in love with the janitor.
Yeah. See how I will see like anything. Um, maybe we haven't seen her in sci-fi either. I
No,
don't think. Not that I can remember.
no, I would definitely watch her as like the head of a starship
Mm-hmm.
or a like scientist trying to like find the cure of a virus that is ravaging the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch it.
Yeah. Dystopian flick, maybe.
Ooh, you know what would be interesting?
Hmm.
They do like a dystopic movie, and she's the head of the dystopic government.
Right. I like say we also need her as a villain because I've never seen her as a villain.
You know what? That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
That would be it. She would kill a role as a villain role.
Because like even like Crazy Eyes, even though it was so good, it was an interesting role. She wasn't the villain.
No, she wasn't. You know
Yeah.
what? I would love to see her
But
in
I
a
also think
western.
that Piper was the villain in that show. But that's just my personal opinion.
I totally agree. She was. I feel like that show was like, oh my god, I'm too good for this, but yet you like did a crime.
You did the crimes.
So you're not too good. You
No,
belong here,
she was the
just like
least
the little meth
interesting
girl.
character.
She was the least interesting character. But I would love to see Uzo in a western.
Oh, okay, that's really different. What makes you say
Mm-hmm.
Western?
Because I feel like we need more black westerns. But
Mm-hmm.
like, so for example, I would love to see her in like a western version of like Macbeth or something like that.
Okay, that's really specific.
Like
Okay.
I want to see like a western, but like with another layer to it, like a western version of Hamlet or Othello. You know what I mean? Something where you have to have
Another version
acting.
of Othello.
You know, I mean, if she plays Othello,
No, still. We've done Othello enough.
but I just want to see like I want to see a role that would be challenging for anybody because I know she would body it.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, maybe it's Cowboy Carter, but I just would love to see like I don't know. I just like I'm like I want to see when westerns are done well.
Mm-hmm.
I like them. I don't like traditional westerns.
Mm-hmm.
But I like movies because I love period pieces. So
Mm-hmm.
I love movies that are set in different time periods. I love movies with heavy costuming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I think a lot of times because I love historical fiction,
Mm-hmm.
like I need that little extra. Like go if you're going back in time, like all of a sudden we got aliens, all of a sudden we have zombies or society is completely flipped and now we're doing this and now we're doing that. So that's why I'm like, I would love to see her in a western because I would love for her to be able to like do that, the physicality of learning how to shoot a gun and like riding horses. Like I would love for her to challenge herself to like learn those things and portray those things on screen. But
Mm-hmm.
also because I know that she's such a great actor, like I want like a meaty, challenging story that she
Mm-hmm.
can like really pour herself into. That's why I'm like, oh, but like yes, it's a western, but like what if it's the story of like Macbeth and she's playing Macbeth? Like the
Mm-hmm.
Macbeth person who's like trying to get power and you know what I mean, and it's set in the old west. You tell me that wouldn't hit?
It would be interesting. I would watch it.
You know, like it would be like I just think that like there's so many stories that are yet to be told,
Mm-hmm.
specifically our community. Like we need to be able to tell more stories and we need to
Mm-hmm.
be free to do more things. Like how I saw, was it Viola Davis? I think it was Viola Davis, and she was talking about in college how you play, that you know you have to play all of these quote unquote like white roles, like you're doing Shakespeare, you're doing all of these, like you know you have to be
Yeah.
able to play any character in school. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the majority of the characters that you're playing are white, but then when you leave and you go to get professional work, you're immediately pigeonholed
Yep.
into black characters only.
Mm-hmm.
And so that what I want is for her, for Viola, for Kerry Washington, for
Mm-hmm.
all of these like black actors and actresses who are amazing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to be able to play like these diverse roles
Yeah.
that are like outside of their blackness, but they can bring their blackness to it because how can we not?
Right.
You know, but I want them to just be able to do things outside of their blackness and not be pigeonholed. So yes, I want to see her do a western version of Macbeth. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
hope you enjoyed the conversation and we will see you on the next episode.
See you in the next episode. Bye.
I'm ready for the next episode. Can't wait turn my TV on. I'm ready for the next episode. Got my snap shoes off, no remote control. I'm ready for the next episode.